Welcome to Biztech's Trade Conversation Show. Today we have a very interesting guest out of Singapore. He's Dickson Low, the president of the Franchising and Licensing Association of Singapore. Now, the Franchising and Licensing Association of Singapore, also known as FLA Singapore, is one of the founding members of the World Franchise Council and was established in 1993. Now, with a 130 company strong membership base and growing, representing more than 200 exciting brands, Franchising and Licensing Association of Singapore is growing from strength to strength. Now, to tell us more, welcome to the show, Dickson.
Thank you. Thank you, Brian.
Now,
Good
Dickson,
morning.
good morning. And you've got a great background in terms of franchising. But for a start, tell us a little bit about yourself and then give us an overview of the association.
Okay, sure. Myself, I'm now the president for Franchise Licensing Association of Singapore. I'm working for a company, Inks Holding Private Limited, where we have brands like A&W, Subways, the brand Jamaican Coffee in Malaysia, as well as Popeyes and Gelare in Singapore. All right. It started some 21 years ago, and I've been in the F&B since. I'm also one of the co-founders for the Manhattan Fish Market, Tony Roma's Malaysia, and Manhattan Fish Market, being a homegrown brand in Malaysia, has grown to 15 countries in the franchise. And for franchise licensing, I took over the president only in March this year. It is established some 30 years ago, and it's the only association in Singapore representing the franchise and licensing sector in Singapore. Like what you say, we are part of the franchise, the World Franchise Council, as well as the Asia Pacific Franchise Confederation, which gives FLA, as compared to many other franchise consultants, an advantage to support our members to expand internationally. FLA has right now about 130 to 150 members, representing some 200 to 250 brands, of which I would say that about 40% of those are F&B, 20% in the education, enrichment industry, another 25% in retailing, lifestyle, service industry.
Now, Dickson, then, for the benefit of the audience, give us a primer on franchising. Maybe for a start, give us an idea of why should I, as a business, franchise my business? What is the benefits of doing that? And then on the flip side of the equation, what are the benefits of someone buying a franchise?
Okay, I think a franchise again here is a business. It's actually an alternative business channel for any business who wanted to grow their business. I think everybody who actually started a business put a lot of effort to ensure that they have put in a holistic structure in order for the company to grow. Now, in this case, in this whole structure itself, it becomes a system. Now, if this system has been proven, has been refined, it is something that it could actually extend to share this particular success factor with any of the people who are interested to know how this business can grow to a next level. And it is especially great if we could actually have this apply to another country. Wherever you grow a business is always within your own country. And after which, you might want to try how to work at an international part of it. This is where the whole structure can be actually applied into another country, share the success factor, and that's where it could grow in many other areas, not just in your own country, especially in a small country like Singapore.
Now, on the other side of the equation, why should I buy a franchise? Who typically buys a franchise from your members?
Oh, again here, like what I say, since the franchise itself, now that actually cut short the time, especially when you wanted to start off something new. Now, again, when you start off something new, it's all the risks that you have to take. Whereas a franchise itself do have a proven structure. Now, this is very important when you assess that if you wanted to take all the risks in the world to start a new business, or is there a business out there which is very near to what you were thinking, and they have been proven and able to grow that, and you see that that particular system can also be applied to the local business environment. So this is why understanding how this work and understanding how it can apply to the local is actually essential for it to be successful. And a franchise is as such to say that they are ready. They have all the system. They would be able to guide you. They would be able to give you the extra mileage or the extra know-how without you doing research, without you learning from the difficult part of it.
Now, so here's the thing that, and I want to now draw on your over 20 years of experience, Dickson.
Right.
There's been a big shift in terms of some of the key trends. Now, 20, 30 years ago, it was all about international brands coming into Asia and franchising their models. But this has changed dramatically, and your company with Manhattan Fish is an example of how local brands have started to go out. Give us a sense and walk us through some of the growth and the journey over the last 20 years in terms of how the franchising industry has evolved.
Yes, sure. I think franchising started very well in the US. And if you notice to say that many years ago, all the big brands like McDonald's, like Go Gym, Pizza Hut, they are the big brands that actually came from the West. And Asia, I suppose, some years back, we are learning what is a franchise system. But I think we have learned tremendously and has picked up. And a lot of people are also being trained in the franchise stores. And we understand how it works right now. So in a way, it's not a difficult element right now for anybody to structure their company according to SOP, according to systems, according to the flow of procurement, standardization of procurement, whereas it came out to a standard way of preparations. So it become a flow, it become a structure. So a franchise, a successful system was tested also. So it is something that it become a very important set of system that can be duplicated. And for sharing that, definitely it is applicable. And I think in Asia, this is where the local brands itself has been able to successfully implement within the country. And in fact, a lot of people felt that were they a franchise from overseas, since they have seen the whole structure, they have seen the way that they have marketed, they have seen the way that they have evolved over the years, changing their colors, changing their signage, putting on a lot of new innovative way of selling the product or incorporate some other products. And they felt that, hey, these are very professional. And I believe many brands in Asia has actually reached the pinnacle of also as good as any Western brands. And definitely it's worth anybody who look at them being professional and approach them to take a franchise.
Okay, Dickson, I want to now pick your brains and your experience a little bit. And this is your personal experience. Now, you basically were involved in one of the early local brands. So Manhattan Fish Market. And then Manhattan Fish, you then also sold out to a private equity firm, which you still have a stake in, of course, in the business. Walk us through how it was like to go from one outlet to 15 countries, and also then what were the challenges and lessons that you learned along the way?
Sure. I think we started Manhattan Fish Market some 21 years back. And during that time, it was just getting everything ready. I think my team, myself, and my partners, we understand a bit about branding. I've been working with franchise brand for quite some time. So we are able to put in a plan for the business. And when we first started, yes, exactly like what I've said just now, a lot of people think that it is actually a franchise from the United States. Whereas the answer is no, it is locally concocted in Malaysia, KL, at my partner's house. We came up with the name, we came up with the this whole plan, and well, the first outlet, of course, is taking risks. To be frank, there's no guaranteed success when you put something out there. So we started with one outlet. It went out very, very well. We remember to say that on the first day when we served that 200 customers, on the third day, we actually got 2 of those customers actually comes back and patronize us again. That tells us to say that, hey, something is right. And we have to look at improvement to continue that. So we did that. And in KL itself, in the year of 2000, we started, and then we grew to about 4 to 7 within 2 years' time. And that's where we started our first franchise outlet. We could say that that's a franchise outlet, but we have actually managed it. That's in Singapore. I think that is because I'm Singaporean. So after working in Malaysia for a couple of years, we felt that, hey, it's time to go back to Singapore. Okay. And as we grow in Singapore, we still notice to say that, hey, we are lacking what the international brand is all about. The difference here is that in the international part of it, there's a lot of different set of standards. For example, they come with regular checking, quarterly checking, auditing to ensure that everything is based on the system. And apply a lot of research, what customer needs, mystery shopper. Whereas when you run your own business, you don't really do that. So in order to actually grow to the international part of it, we actually think of, since we wanted to grow to become a good franchisor, why don't we become a good franchisee? And that is where we actually went to pick up Tony Romas from the United States. And we become a franchisee of Tony Romas. From there, we learned from the Tony Romas executive how to become more internationalized, how to get our system more robust. And that's what we did. We actually learned from some good brands in order to really build our brands. And at the same time, we noticed that Manhattan Fish Market, wherever we grow in Malaysia, we are always called a local boys. We can't go international. So we need to understand how to actually apply the international standard in order to grow international. It is after many years that we built in Singapore and Malaysia that we are seen by people who come around, and there are people from Saudi, from Middle East, who are looking for brands to build in Middle East, that they knock on our door, and they like the system, they like the product, And because fish is a product that is very suitable for the Middle East, so we have Saudi Arabia as our first franchise place. So that's how we grew. And of course, we set up a department that look at it seriously, continue to grow the business, continue to grow the people, communicate with the people, marketing part of it, what is our USP, how to strengthen it, how to grow the menu, how to have different segment of the menu for different part of the country. So we learned a great deal, and that's how we become successful.
And this is fantastic. And I ask you this question because you're such an apt person then to be the president, because as the president of the Franchising and Licensing Association, your journey then allows you to help your members grow and scale. Now, within your remit, what are your key objectives for 2020? We're at the end of 2023 now, for 2024 in terms of the association. How are you going to help your members? What are your focus areas and so forth?
Well, we have I think for FLA we have started with a great deal of training aspects. We do have our diagnostic kits to understand how a company could be ready for the franchise. These courses are actually supported by a great deal of grants from WSG or even Enterprise Singapore, who will actually support the members who actually comes for the classes. So these are the main things that we there's a couple of classes that we do even for franchising, marketing, understanding their structure, writing of SOPs. So these are some of the basics that we want to ensure that when a company wanted to know and understand, are they qualified to become a franchise, or at least to try out how to work on the franchise system. That's how we help them on it. And of course, getting people to understand other brands. We do have our gatherings, those people who are excited to on their own business, that if they could actually work on the franchise system, they will gather and mingle around with the people who have already done franchising, what was their journey and what's their pros and cons. Yeah, we have all these by FLA.
Now, then Dickson, could you give us some insights into some of your members who've perhaps been very successful, local companies, local Singapore brands that have been successfully franchised overseas in the last couple of years?
Sure. Maybe perhaps I'd like to especially mention brands like maybe Jumbo. Now, Jumbo, of course, is started by Mr. Ang Ken Ming. And right now they have grown to many countries. I cannot remember how many countries they have, but at least they have 7 to 10 countries in their profile. In the last couple of years, they have been tremendous. The growth that they have is fantastic. Of course, it works very, very well, especially in the Asia-Pacific region. Being in China, in Taiwan, in Korea, in Vietnam, in Indonesia, in Japan. I think all these were the countries that people come around Singapore. Singapore has been a very cosmopolitan place where we attract a lot of business people around. The moment they come around, they look at it, they go and eat a certain product, and wow, they love it. And this is where they started their structure. Now, many times, a lot of people feel that maybe more Chinese restaurant is very difficult to franchise. But then again, here, Jumbo were very determined. They preset their sources so that they could actually help franchisee to consistently work on the same taste profile, and also set the different raw material imports to ensure that it is successful. I think those were the a lot of back end work that they have in tremendous amount of effort to ensure that it's successful. And even when it launched, they hold hands along the way. Their franchise team were very aggressive in ensuring that every customer is being taken care of, to ensure that every customer gives some feedback, to ensure that they like it. If not, how do they tweak that particular local cuisine or the local part of it? How could they, as much as possible, tweak the package, the pricing, so that it suits the local market and becomes successful. I think these are definitely some of those very flexible structure within a franchise system that a very smart franchisor would actually adapt, so that they could actually adjust themselves in different various countries to ensure more success to the franchisee.
Okay, now Dickson, I want to take a different lens. I want to look through a franchisee lens. We've talked a lot about how the benefits are for the franchisor in terms of expansion.
Right.
But this is actually a business that is mutually beneficial, of course, and it wouldn't work otherwise. Now,
Sure.
franchisees can make a lot of money.
Sure.
Now, there are different ways to make a lot of money. You can make a money, you start your entrepreneurial journey. As you mentioned earlier in the show, it's lower risk. The systems are in place. It's lower risk to enter entrepreneurship.
Correct.
Give us a sense from that sort of perspective, first of all, how lucrative this can be, and maybe you can use some examples of some of your members.
Okay, probably let's put Subway. Now, we understand that Subway in Singapore or even in Malaysia, there are these franchisee who has multiple units. Means to say that a franchisee actually owns around between 10 to 15 units. The reason why they own these units is also because I think the unit makes sense to them. After running the first few units, they find success in making some money. They see the returns. They make I'm sure they make their calculations. Most importantly, I would say it's always again here, the brand that has taken them to a certain level. Subway being an international brand, when it opens everywhere, it has its reputation, it has its standard, and definitely it has its follower. So in the view of a franchisee, the important things is the business has to be positive. And if the business is positive, definitely they would look at the pros and cons. They would weigh the difference. In terms of Subway, why do they have multiple units? Is because the ease of getting all the products. The brand itself actually do all the dough and export them to the franchisee, where the franchisee only need to prove the dough. And then that's where you have the bread. And every single ingredient within the display that you see at Subway, they are all come from a central kitchen that is provided, that is verified, that is audited by the franchisor, and the recipe provided by a franchisor, in order to have new product or continuous of popular products. So the franchisee would not have to worry very much about how to come up with R&D, how to research on raw products, how to buy at the best price, because they have volume, they have economic of scale. So they were able to produce bread at a very consistent quality, at the best pricing. At the same time, the rest of the ingredients are likewise. So since it has given the franchisee a peace of mind and a great way of making money, and that's where you have franchisee that actually picks up multiple outlets.
Dickson, it's been a great conversation. I've learned a lot and I'm going to find out more about franchising. But before we leave, any final thoughts you'd like to leave the audience with?
Just a simple one. I think for myself, representing FLA, I would like to just say that if anybody would have any thoughts to say that they would like to progress their business into sharing their success factor with anyone, and at the same time, when they share, they make a bit of money. So that is another channel of business. But at the same time, that will be for the business owner. But for the people who wanted to pick up any businesses, they could actually come and share their needs, their thoughts. FLA is always open. We have our secretariat, we have our website all ready to answer anybody regarding their needs and their aspiration in growing their business or picking up some business. I know of some friends who have worked as an executive for a long time, and they say that I've been in the corporate world long enough, and I really like to try something that I've not done before, that is to be an entrepreneur. How do I start? I say, first, let us help you by seeing if you are ready. There's a small little questionnaire that will ask you if you are ready. If, for example, one simple one, are you ready to work 24 hours? So my friend said, hey, man, although I'm ready to work, but not 24 hours, I say, yes, if you really wanted to become an entrepreneur, be ready for that. You might, for the first year, you might need to work 24 hours a day by opening the outlet and locking it up at the end of the night. There are no holiday, no sick leave. That's what it is. And it's only that when you understand the business, you build your structure again, then you could actually have everything back to normal. So, well, again here, FLA is here to answer any question or to help anybody in terms of their diagnostic, whether their business is ready. For anybody who has the money to buy a brand, we have many, many brands to match you. So let us know.
Dickson, thank you very much for being on the show. You've been a great guest.
Thank you very much, Brian.
Now, we've been speaking to Dickson Low. He's the president of the Franchising and Licensing Association of Singapore. I'm Brian Fernandez, and you've been watching and listening to Biztech's Trade Conversation Show. The show will be on our website, www.biztech.asia, as well as our syndication partners, TV stations, radio stations, and websites. Thanks a lot for tuning in.